Hey, what's going on? This is the Close Your Mouth Media YouTube channel. Here with a special episode. We're getting into the new, I'm not gonna say new season, but the special for Euphoria. This is part one, Rue. We here with the castmates and let everyone introduce themselves.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I've been waiting so long for something to come out. But my name is Paul Bell.
Yeah, so I've been waiting for Euphoria to come out for a while now, too. I'm excited it's here, and it's who I am-ish.
Yeah, man. So we're here just to discuss the episode, man. And this was a deep one, man. This was a really, really deep one.
Yeah, I almost cried. I can't even lie. Like, it was, my eyes were getting a little
A lot of meaningful stuff was said during this episode.
Yeah.
It really gave you perspective, you know?
It's crazy. Yeah. I don't think this might be an episode that's for everyone. Because I know that everyone that usually watches this TV show, they're kind of in it for, like, the teen drama and that kind of aspect of the show. But this really kind of cued in on the true significance of the show, which is Rue, who is the protagonist, and it's her struggle with addiction, which is, you know, something that, you know,
it plagues a lot of people, man.
Plagues a lot of people, and I feel like, you know, it doesn't get depicted enough. And this conversation that she had with Ali in this episode really kind of put it all into perspective for everyone. But before we get into that, I know you wanted to talk about last season. The ending scene.
Yeah, just like the last, like, I guess, like 3 minutes of the last episode of Euphoria. I know that Rue, you see Rue kind of just like laying on her bed, and she, you know, she takes drugs, and like, I guess in that scene or whatever, and like you see her like lift up, and she does like this whole thing, and like the whole music video, like within itself, is like very like symbolic. So at the end, like you kind of see her like fall back, you know, and it's just like, you're like, damn, did she like die? So now, you know, we get into this, the special, and I guess it's like, what, like, I guess it's in the future?
Yeah,
I guess
it's in the future.
So I guess, like, you know, they answered that question for us as far as, like, you know, she survived that night. So
I think her falling back symbolizes the release of freedom from addiction. I mean, from doing drugs, you know, you just feel so alive and free. It's just falling back, just like you don't get that feeling from anywhere else. And it was symbolic for her, and they had to do that in the show.
It was, I feel like Rue, that was kind of a depiction of like Rue falling back into her past cycle of addiction with that whole like relapsing scene. But a part of me still thought that she might have died because like there was kind of like scenes where like leading up to her going outside, it was like her body was like lifeless and it was kind of being like dragged around.
That's
she's
like,
kind of ghost-like too.
Yeah, she's drifting along, honestly.
Yes, that's what I was just like, oh, but
I'm happy she's alive, man, because Rue's definitely up there. I feel like the top characters.
Shout out to Zendaya for making Rue such a great character. Yeah. Great actor. I appreciate you.
Yo,
actress.
Amazing.
Actress.
I mean, actress, sorry.
No, we knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean any offense.
No, I'm just fucking with you, bro. But I think it's like Rue and Nate. But before we even get into that, I feel like another part of the top three is Jules. So what are your thoughts on, you know, like Rue and Jules kind of still having this little love connection thing going on?
I think it's like, it's kitty love, like in a way. Like, I don't know. Like, I know they really care about each other, but like, I just truly, like, even watching the first season, I felt like Jules was like, she was like a good asset to Rue's life in a way, but I just didn't necessarily think that she was honestly good for her, you know?
I think they're more like best friends than actual couple, you know?
Yeah.
I
just
both
feel
understand each other like a term of friends.
Yeah, the way I was looking at it, I was just like, she's definitely a friend that I feel like Rue needs, but I feel like long term, like, probably not. Like, you know?
I feel like their relationship is a source of a lot of instability for Rue, which kind of showed like in the last season. Well, season one to be exact, where like there were just certain scenes where you could see that like when, you know, Jules was kind of not giving her the attention that Rue felt that she needed, where she was kind of going a little bit crazy, like, you know, trying to like understand like what's going on with Jules and everything. So I feel like their relationship is a big source of instability for Rue because she has an obsessive personality as she is, you know, an addict.
Yeah.
And I feel like that relationship itself just leaves a lot of room for, you know, for Rue to actually like relapse, and that's kind of the cause of it.
That's yeah. I mean, you can see Rue like kind of depending on Jules in a way, and she kind of like admits that in a way in a conversation with like, you know, like later
she blamed
on
her drugs
episode.
on Rue too. I mean, Rue blamed her drugs on her significant other too.
Yeah, she kind of like blamed the reason for her relapse on like her relationship with Jules, but like she needs to take into consideration that like she needs to like actually take ownership for like her faults.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that is a big problem with the drug addicts. They do blame other people for their problems. In a big step, like it is kind of cliche to say this, but like recognizing the problem is the first step. And like I think Ali really pushed that to her. Like, hey, like you can't blame anyone else besides yourself.
And that's a part of like, you know, the disease of addiction that like Ali was getting into her, where a lot of people see people that use users of drugs, people that are addicts, as people that are kind of you know, they're kind of hurting themselves, and a lot of people don't feel the need to extend a hand because they believe that people that are using or users of drugs are people that are just putting themselves at a detriment, and that they don't need that help or they don't need someone to extend a hand. And I felt like Ali was kind of that support system for Rue that she doesn't have.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like obviously like Rue's mother and her sister are people that she wants to do good by. But I feel like Ali, in comparison to Jules, is a better support system for her because Ali is just giving her the raw, cold facts every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it showed on
Like he's not sugarcoating it for her either, which I like.
But I think
he knows life's hard.
Yeah, and I feel like Rue herself like kind of likes that too. You know,
Yeah.
she feels she like even though she has Jules there to talk about like anything, I guess with, and Jules knows about her addiction or whatever. She has someone that she can kind of like go to actually talk about the you know the deeper like things that's like, you know, conflicting her or whatever. So,
and I think it really woke up Rue in the sense that like, hey, like my life's hard, but when Ali shared his stories about his personal experiences and like, look, like what you experience is nothing compared to what I experienced, and I'm way older than you, so like I probably did your problem multiple times.
no,
Yeah, and it kind of showed like the lack of Rue's like emotional depth. Like I feel like there were points in this conversation where you could clearly see that Rue is a 17-year-old girl who doesn't have a wide scope on how everything works and doesn't have a lot of perspective in the world. Like,
yeah,
Ali was kind of like, he was knowledge bombing her, like every step of the way. Like it kind of reminded me of moments where I would sit down and I would talk with someone who's older than me, like an old head. I know we all had experiences like that where we talk to somebody who's older than us. So.
It's a big thing. Age comes with wisdom, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with him, age, wisdom, and experience.
Yeah.
And the thing about Ali that makes him such a perfect match for Rue when it comes to these talks is because he's experienced it too. Because
exactly.
Ali's a former crackhead. And that's like one of the most difficult addictions to overcome. I think how long has he said he's been clean for? He said
12 years originally.
12 years, yeah.
Then he relapsed
after.
So then he said 7, right?
7 years clean.
7 years clean now. Which is amazing, bro. That's like his struggle is older, like in age than Rue is. And I think he was even talking to the waitress, I forgot her name, where she had some powerful words on everything. I think it was Miss Martha or something.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was Miss Martha. And she said that she's been clean for 17 years. And like those scenes, like they give you like a perspective and you're like, yo, Rue is still a child. And even some of the responses that she's given to him, like you could tell like Rue's still a kid, man. She really doesn't know that much.
She thinks she has the world figured out, but she doesn't.
I wanted to know, like, what did he mean by this? Because originally Ali said that he was clean for 12 years, but then he cut it down to 7. I remember he said something about like he got cocky, but I didn't understand that.
But cocky meaning that like, hey, I'm Superman. Drugs can never affect me. I think I'm so clean that like he'll look at it and be like, whatever, it will do nothing to me.
Yeah, I got that, but like, why did he feel like he needed to cut that off from like
when people get really confident in themselves, they want to help people, right? And Ali's a person that looks like he wants to help people, right?
Okay.
And helping people, you see drugs around you all the time, right? And if you keep putting yourself in that scenario where you keep seeing drugs trying to help people, eventually it will come to you.
Okay. Do you feel? I feel like it was like in a way where it's like he felt like those years of him being cocky were kind of filthy. Like it just wasn't like a clean, like absolute, like.
I think
the big reason he said was that like he forgot the trouble that came with drugs and like how much it hurt him.
Okay.
That's the reason why he quit it in the first place. And forgetting that ruined him.
I feel like a big part of his relapse. I just felt like he kind of reached a point where obviously for 12 years it's like a lot of years to be clean from drugs. I think he just didn't think that it could happen to him again, basically, and then he got caught up.
Can I bring up one more thing? He said like he relapsed for a year and a half. It wasn't just like a day.
It wasn't a day.
Yeah.
You see that Rue is just like, what?
Like you hear like drug addicts, like they relapse for like a day or two, right? And they're back to like the cycle, going back to meetings and stuff like that, right? But like him for a year and a half, like, whoa, like something really went wrong for you.
Yeah. It's a lot of perspective, man.
Yeah.
And a thing that Ali kind of presented to her that I felt like was kind of understated was how Faith is kind of something that he fell back on within his addiction. And you could tell that Ali, like, he's Muslim. His actual name is
converted.
Martin. Yeah, he converted over to Islam. And even when he was talking to Miss Martha, like, they were all giving, references to spiritual points in their life. And Rue almost said, like, Rue full out said that she doesn't believe in God. And she doesn't believe in, like, a higher force or something that's, like, actually putting her in a position that's, like, it's, like, moving her. She was very cynical about the world. She felt that everything kind of just happened because it just happened. And she touched lightly, like, on her father's passing. She said that there was no deeper meaning behind her father dying. Like, it just happened.
Yeah, the same way she
Like
feels
she
like
was saying, like, don't feel sorry for me, I'll walk out. Like something like that.
Yeah, the same for like when she was just like, there's no deeper meaning for why I'm alive and he's not, like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I don't know. When she was just like, I don't believe in God and stuff like that. Like I feel like in this like world that we live in, I feel like it's better to like live believing something like in some higher power and die believing that you did the right thing than to just
I think it's very arrogant to think that there isn't something you don't understand. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff humans don't understand.
Yeah, right. And Ali was touching on that. He was saying like there's a poetry to life that like just us is just like as regular normal like everyday human being, like you'll never seem to fully understand.
He was like
comprehend.
Yeah. Like we think the answer is so simple, but it's so complex in many ways that we can't understand unless we experience it ourselves.
You said everything fails you, but believe in the poetry. I think he said.
Yeah, he said everything may fail you, but believe in the poetry. Yeah. Man, that's deep, man. Ali was dropping some gems.
He was.
Ali, honestly,
Ali was a good actor.
Yeah, he didn't really Ali wasn't really getting too many scenes and
not too much screen time. Yeah,
he wasn't really getting too much screen time. Like he would like, I just remember him occasionally saying like, yeah, when you want to cut the bullshit about being clean, he's like, immediately we can get some pancakes. And like, it was good to actually fully see it. Like this kind of felt like a filler episode, whereas like if this special never happened, then like the show could still proceed into season 2.
Yeah.
But like it gives you so much more emotional depth on Rue's addiction. I think that with all the other storylines that are going on in the show, that kind of starts to fall to the wayside a little bit because we're all invested in what's going on with Maddie and Nate, what's going on with Nate's father, what's going on with Kat and, her conquering her, sexuality.
Yeah, to touch on Ollie for you, Kev. What I like about Ollie is that when he was talking to Rue, he's asking her like, hey, like if you want to stay I don't want to waste my time here, right? But I'm gonna keep dragging you in to say like, hey, this is worth it. Because most sponsors, I'm guessing, like if you don't want to try to stay sober, they're like, all right, I'm just gonna leave, right?
Yeah.
And like you choose what you want, and like I'm not gonna get through you. But Ollie's like, look, I'm bringing a lot to the table here. That's what I'm saying, right? Either you take it or you don't. And what he said was really meaningful, and it should impact like everyone that's watching it.
I love how like he just even though she kind of like hit back with certain things where like Ali like had to just take a few seconds to think about it. He's like, damn, like he's like, how can I respond to her because I don't want to like say the wrong things. He's like I'm human just like her. Like we all make mistakes. We all say the wrong things. I don't have the answers to everything. So I respected him when he said that. But he stayed with her. He was patient with her, and the same thing with Rue. She was patient with him. I don't like it's a very uncomfortable conversation to have. She was
for sure, man.
Like she was getting uncomfortable when like, he mentioned like, oh, like I think he said something about her having a deeper meaning. Like it was a purpose for her living or whatever.
Yeah.
You saw her getting like frustrated. She was like, no, don't say that. She was like, if you say something like crazy, like next, like I'm leaving. And I was like, damn, I was like, he has to be careful now because I know he really wants to help this girl.
He knows when to poke, when to pull,
I think, and a deeper thing about it too, especially within that scene, he admitted, he's like, I don't have the answers to everything.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, like when you're getting schooled by older people, they try to put you in a position where they're coming at you like from a sense of superiority to be like, yo, like I know a lot, you don't know much. He honestly clearly said to her that like, yo, like I understand a lot more than you, but there's even some stuff that I don't even understand.
Yeah.
And that kind of put them on a level.
Like he asked for that respect. Like, hey, I'm older than you. I have a lot of wisdom to give to you, but I'm going to respect you in a sense that like, hey, you have a big story that I don't understand myself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man. That gets understated, man, especially with a lot of older folks when they talk to the younger generation. It can't always be knowledge bombs on top of knowledge bombs to be like, yo, I know more than you. I'm dropping gems on you. Pick up what I'm saying, because that doesn't always get through with people. There has to be a semblance of relatability between people when it comes to stuff like that for actually, you know, breakthroughs to actually happen, man. I appreciated that scene so much.
Nah, it was great. I just loved how, she was getting real cynical. She was just saying like, I just don't want to keep doing this anymore. Like, she was like, I don't want to witness any of the cruel, evil stuff that's going on in this world. She was like, I just feel like she's like, I honestly don't see myself staying long. And like,
That's
That
painful.
part,
yeah. Ali was just like,
the sad answer, like a lot of people probably think like that.
nah, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what's sad about
I
it.
think was even deeper about that scene, bro. Like, if you take time to actually look at like her face throughout that scene,
that's
bro,
what was like breaking my heart. I was like, dang, I'm about to cry.
Zendaya, how you do it?
Yo, honestly, and that's something that's like very understated when it comes to acting. Sometimes you don't have to say anything to be a good actor. It's just the facial expressions that you make could really sell the fuck out of a scene, man.
Yeah.
And you could see like she like progressively throughout the episode, like her face considered like it kept on caving in and caving in and caving in. And then eventually see how emotionally broken she was, bro.
She came in confident, acting like she knows what she knows, right?
Yeah,
and she slowly got broken down every single way,
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Good
shout
for
out
Ali,
to Zendaya,
though.
man.
Like,
Good. Shout out to Zendaya, man. That is amazing acting, bro. My fault to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. It just like, it really, that whole conversation just hit me, and he was just like, man, like, he was like when you leave, like, how do you want your family to remember you?
Ooh.
So I was just like,
yeah, I think when we were watching that, I said that shit too. I'm like,
I feel like everyone can think
man.
about that question, you know? Like, when you leave, how do you want your family to think about you?
That's tough, man. That's tough, bro. Like, and like I said, this might not be an episode that is for everyone that is a viewer of this show. A lot of people may watch this episode and they may not get the value out of it, man. But it's a lot of knowledge, man. And it's a lot of just deep introspection, man. And that's what I love from a television show, is to get that introspection, bro.
Yeah, shout out to the videography for the show, too.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
It's like a movie, bro. It's amazing. That's what like makes it so captivating. But I just, overall, man, I just love how, he wasn't sitting there really trying to like change her. I guess he just wanted to, open her mind to, the possibility of doing the right thing. Cause he's like, all right, like, he was like, do you want to get clean? She's like, no. And he's like, all right.
Cause that's something that weighs on her mind too. Like, you can tell that she's very much aware. Like,
and it's the honest answer, you know?
Yeah. I was gonna say, she's very much like, she's very much cognizant, and like, she's sensitive. She has a soft spot when it comes to her mother and her sister. Yeah. Because even all throughout season 1, where there's like a whole bunch of flashbacks, those are just scenes of like her sister breaking down, seeing like her, Rue fall on the drugs. Yeah. And then her going back and forth with her mother. Because even in the episode they were talking about, she said that she was a terrible person because of what she did to her mother, like in terms of hitting her in the face and, like threatening her with
a broken glass.
That's a big thing, like you can't hit your own family. Like everyone could agree on that, right? And but if you hurt your own, you just feel so terrible.
But then it goes into what you were talking about. I know you said that you wanted to bring up, like forgiveness, which was like a big thing that wasn't, understated in the episode.
Going back to religion, what Ali said, like religion, a big part of it is forgiveness. This doesn't matter what religion you are. And
that's true.
He recognized that from all the problems he had throughout his life, right? And he forgave himself. That's the biggest thing you have to do. The only way you want to overcome your problems is to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he really pushed that to Rue and asked her, like, look, like you can blame whoever you want, you can do whatever you want, and you can blame yourself as much as you want. But like if you're not ready to forgive yourself, you're always going to dig yourself into this hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like people change, people have different attitudes to how they see people, And I think he really was trying to push that through.
And it was interesting when they were having that conversation, because Rue was just like, I could just never see you being like a horrible person. And then he got into his like history with abuse, and how he said that he spent 30 years of his life wanting to kill his father for abusing his mother. And then it all came. Yeah, it all came.
Hit me, man.
And that's and that's the sad truth, because like hurt people, man. Mm-hmm. And that's a real thing. Like, a lot of people, sadly, who witness that abuse in their household, if they're not strong enough to overcome it, they'll see themselves within that cycle. And he said that his I'm not sure if it's his former wife or it's his wife that he's still with.
I think it was his first wife.
I think it's his first wife.
Yeah, his first wife. He said that she wasn't liking the fact that he was using crack, and that the whole idea of they were like going back and forth, and he said that he was abusing her, and he said that he noticed that one day while abusing her that his two daughters were there watching. He was just like, for it to all come full circle for me to say, yo, for 30 years of my life, I really wanted to kill my father just to see him doing the same exact thing.
Like where his daughters were standing is where he was standing 30 years ago.
It's crazy, man.
It's a scary thing.
It's crazy. And that's the type of thing too. Like when you have those discussions, you need to get that real life wisdom, and you need to get those like real life examples. Cause like, I just felt like Rue couldn't imagine Ali at that stage, and like hearing it from him just gave her a little bit. I don't know if it did or not, because she was fucking broken.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it gave her hope to think that, hey, maybe like there's a chance for me to be a better person.
Yeah, because she was really thinking that she was like evil, like she shouldn't be forgiven.
Yeah,
and you know,
because once you accept that in your life, right? Like, hey, I'm unforgivable, right?
Yeah.
You give yourself the clearance that, hey, I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't care about my life anymore.
Like Ali said,
because like even if I try to go back, right, it's never gonna be fixed. That's what you tell yourself all the time, and that's not the truth.
Yeah, that's what and Ali said, man. Like he was like, there's scary people that walk around with like thinking like there's no redemption, and it's like it's scary. It is.
That is, man.
Because then like they don't care about anything. Like people that don't care about anything are scary, because then they'll end up doing reckless stuff like what?
Yeah.
Going to shoot up a school or whatever, whatever the case may be. So it's just
reminds you like life is hard, Like he said, there's not a lot of hope out there during the episode.
And he put in a lot of perspective for a lot of people that aren't familiar with people that are users and people that are addicts, because it's easy to come at it from an angle and to be condescending and just be like, yo, like, you're doing something that's wrong. I can't respect that. But like, it's always good to just have people that are able to reach out and extend a hand, to just say, hey, like, I understand where you're coming from and I want to help you so that you can help yourself.
Yeah.
And, I think it's as good as time as any, the audio man.
I just want to touch on one thing for that, Kev. Like, what Ali was saying is like, look, I want to help you, and my advice can push you so far, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to realize yourself what you really want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's a big hard thing for sponsors. I think that job in the world is like I don't think you get paid for it at all, right? So you're just trying to help somebody, right? And like the emotional trauma that people go through are addicts, right? And you realizing that it's a challenge just trying to get through someone, and I value that a lot. So I appreciate those people.
Yeah, I'm gonna just end it on this, man. Unless you have something else to say.
Yeah, I'll just say something really quick. I was just gonna say I think it was just really important, and I think it was cool that she kind of made an episode like this. Because regardless of how many times you hear it, like it's always good to use your platform to kind of bring to light to certain issues that are just sometimes are like forgotten or
or understated, not understood either.
Yeah,
I feel that people that hit rock bottom give the best advice.
Because they experienced it.
They experienced like the worst of the worst,
Yeah. And talking about that experience, I felt that Ali gave Rue something that she doesn't have. A father figure, man. That's what I was watching. Like Ali genuinely cares for her, man. He gave her something that she currently just doesn't have. With her father passing, which is the cause of a lot of her trauma, is a father figure. And I think it's as good as time, man. The audio man points to the time.
I'm sorry, guys.
Super thankful, man, for everyone that's tapped in. Keep showing us love, keep showing us support. We definitely want to get into these episodes once season 2 comes out.
Yeah, let us know if you want to see more episodes throughout the whole season, and ask us questions. Let us know what you're thinking, if you agree to it.
Oh no, we doing it. Yeah, there's gonna be some episode reviews, man. From us, CYM cast, man. Yeah. Shout out to everyone, man. And if you're going through something, man, I hope that there's someone there present in your life to extend you a hand and give you the help and support that you need.
Exactly.
Peace.